And what would you say was the kind of overall findings of the systematic review for Tongkat Ali?
So our review, what we found, we searched a number of databases, and ultimately we found 9 clinical trials which met our criteria, which is very important. On obviously males, either healthy males or with hypogonadism, and looking at specific outcomes. They had to measure testosterone in the blood.
Yeah.
Those are some key concepts. So, with those restrictions in place, we found 9 papers which we could put into a systematic review. And the majority of them, if I'm not mistaken, 7 out of the 9 showed a positive impact on, or reported positive impact on, of Tongkat Ali on testosterone in males. So we can break that down further because there were some differences in them and what they looked at. But the overall impact in both males with normal testosterone as well as males with hypogonadism tend to improve cholesterol. Improve testosterone. Some of the papers, 5 of them, in fact, we could then use based on how they reported their data. We could then take that data and put it into a statistical methodology. We call a meta-analysis. So we could pull 4 of them. We weren't able to do this because they didn't report the data in the way we would need it to be done. But 5 of them we could put into the meta-analysis, and basically that's making one big study. And what we found there statistically was that Tongkat Ali improved testosterone in males. So with very good, strong evidence, we broke that down further into specifically males with low testosterone or hypogonadism, and we saw an increase in testosterone, as well as males with normal testosterone. So in those cohorts, we also saw an increase in testosterone. So there are some limitations. There's not too many studies, but it's not too few either. And the sample size in many of them is relatively low. But they do clearly show at this stage, at least if we look at these as pilot studies, preliminary studies, that there is a significant positive impact of Tongkat Ali on testosterone.
Interesting. Yeah. That's basically the conclusion we came to.
Yeah. Yes. No. And yeah. Now I've had a look, and no, it's quite it's almost remarkable. On one hand, if you look at it, like I said, it's few papers, small sample size. But if you look in the context of clinical trial research of herbal medicines, there are very few.
Yeah.
There's a lot more in animals. There's a lot of cell culture work, but that needs to translate into humans. And if you go looking at the literature for almost any other potential herb, which we see benefit of either in folklore at a traditional level or at a cell culture level, and in animals, there's plenty of them which show improved testosterone. Almost none of them have been translated into clinical trials at this stage, let alone for a systematic review or meta-analysis. So in that sense, it's quite remarkable on how many there had been on Tongkat Ali. And I think this comes from a push from Malaysia. It's a Malaysian herb, basically, and the Malaysian government for a good few decades has put it as part of one of its sort of flagship exports to the world. So there has been a lot of funding in Malaysia. A lot of the studies that we had included had been based in Malaysia. So, when you get a little bit of backing financially or politically or otherwise into these areas, then you can do the research, do the clinical trials, and start, getting the results. But, I think generally most parts of the world, it's very difficult for that type of funding for clinical trials, which are expensive.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.